Good morning. This morning's scripture is from Matthew chapter 12, verses 38 to 50. Then some of the men of the scribes and Pharisees answered, saying to him, "Teacher, we would like to see a sign from you." But he answered, saying to them, "An evil and adulterous generation wants a sign, and no sign will be given to it, except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was in the whale's belly 3 days and 3 nights, so the Son of Man will be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. Even the men of Nineveh will rise up in judgment with this generation and find it guilty. For they repented through the preaching of Jonah. And behold, a greater than Jonah is here. The queen of the south will rise up in judgment with this generation and find it guilty. For she came from the far ends of the earth, that she might hear Solomon's wisdom. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, it travels in places where there is no water and seeks rest, and does not find it. Then it says, "I will return to my own house from whence I came." So it comes back and finds it empty, warm, and well furnished. Then it goes away and brings with it 7 other spirits worse than itself, and they enter and live in him. And the end of that man becomes worse than at first. Such will happen to this evil generation. While he was speaking to the people, his mother and his brothers came and stood outside and wanted to speak with him. Then a man said to him, "Behold, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, and they want to speak with you." But he answered, saying to him, "Who told him? Who is my mother, and who are my brothers?" And he pointed his hand to his disciples and said, "Behold my mother, and behold my brothers. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother, and my sister, and my mother." And so ends the reading for today. And now Dr. Lyle will give us our lesson for today.
Well, here we are. Welcome back. And it's been quite a summer for me. I seem to have found new opportunities to grow and progress, and new opportunities to use the teaching that I've been given. I think for each of us, as we go through life, we're given many opportunities. And it's really a question of what we do with those opportunities and what we make of those opportunities. How well we do is dependent upon how we look at ourselves and how we look at the progress of mankind. Part of our scripture today talked about Jonah and the fact that Jesus was instructing people that a greater than Jonah had come forth, and yet they did not recognize them. And it's led me to think about various changes in mankind. And I think every area, no matter what that area is, if we look at it, we see that there's progress that's been made. And we all have different definitions of progress, but I think certainly for most of us, we think electricity is preferable to candlelight. And I know that there's some downfall with electricity. You have to replace fuses and things of that nature, but I met with a person yesterday that spends most of their life using candles, and they burnt themselves using candles. All that hot wax fell upon them, and so there's a downfall to candles too. But I don't know what that has to do with much of anything, but electricity gives us more light. I know we're more mechanized with it. Certainly our homes seem to be a bit stabler than they used to be in the past. And they've found ways around things like earthquakes and things of that nature. And I know there's buildings still standing from a long time ago, but many of ours will be still standing a few hundred years from now. Certainly, in terms of creature comforts, things have progressed. I was looking at athletics, and it seems that every record that's out there continues to be broken. In the past year, some records regarding, the 100-meter dash or whatever have stood for a while, and that was shattered and broken. In the tennis world, a great deal has taken place. Roger Federer has overtaken all of the people of the past, and rather quickly, I'd say. We didn't think Pete Sampras would be surpassed for a while, but, the guy in back of him got it accomplished. I think people are thinking that they can accomplish more. Something that's occurred in the golf world was the same. Tom Watson tied for the lead in the British Open at the age of 60, something that hasn't ever occurred. And he lost in a playoff, but still there was a mark that was set. Today, we have an interesting event that's taking place as a young woman by the name of Kim Clijsters is in the finals of the, I don't think the match is today, I think it'll be tomorrow. But she's in the finals of the US Open in tennis. Now, for those of you that don't follow tennis, what you don't know is Kim Clijsters is what they call a wild card. She retired 5 years ago and started a family. And they have a tradition at the US Open that what they do is they bring in a past champion or someone else that wouldn't otherwise be at the tournament, but they give them an invitation just to add a little spice to it. And so Clijsters, when she got the invitation, accepted it and has spent the past 8 months preparing to play in the US Open. And she has beaten everybody, including both Williams sisters, to get to the final in this thing. And it's rather interesting. She was so frustrating to, I don't know if anyone saw it last night, to Serena Williams, that Serena Williams was chewing out a line judge for calling a footfall on her and ended up defaulting the match because of unsportsmanlike conduct, but she completely lost her cool. And it looked like she was going to be beaten anyway, I must say. She was facing the door. But there's a person that normally you would think would never have a chance at that particular event for that to happen. And yet there she is. And it looks like it's going to happen because I have watched some of the tournament, and I don't believe the woman that's left can beat her. But it's interesting. She still has gone further than anyone else has gone in that particular position. In science, we keep having greater breakthroughs, more advances. Things keep moving steadily along. And I think it's time for us to accept that in the area of theology, religion, spirituality, that there are advances in mankind with Christ figures that appear on the planet. They don't make the headlines. Some do, but they work in different ways and they accomplish a great deal. And it's time for us all to take a look at what Jesus brought us and to accept that he's our teacher.